Welcome everyone. So glad you could either attend live today here with us or catch this recording. This is the first of many NCFI educational workshops, titled this as our education series for 2021. Some of you might know as of August 1st, I am now the lead of the National Corporate Fitness Institute. I've been under the wing of Greg, Justice, and Art McDermott for 4 or 5 years now, and it's just been phenomenal for my business to both work with them too, but now be able to help you all improve your corporate fitness businesses, learn the landscape of what post-COVID looks like for our clients here in the Valley and across the US too. So definitely excited to have you here and definitely excited to dive into this content today, which is titled Services and Marketing. So in regards to our objectives, first thing we really want to do today is define your core services. If we look back at the NCFI certification at large, a lot of that is focused on on-site fitness, on-site boot camps, obviously still a lucrative business model and could be a good leg of your business, but not necessarily the key thing that corporations are looking for in today's landscape. So like, for example, for me here, we've definitely had some on-site gym clients that as soon as the pandemic kicked, we kind of went out the door and we were replaced with different technologies and whatnot. So we really need to make sure that our core services include more than fitness, and we can be a part of those programs as they evolve with not only the landscape of the working environment, but also with technology. And then we're going to revamp our 2021 executive summary. For those of you that got the invite today, I sent the attachment with the executive summary, and that's really our just one pager that we want it to look very professional, very clear on how we can help, and we want to get that thing in the hands of as many people as possible. When we think of executive summary, we think of providing solutions, not services. So in typical, sales and corporate stuff, people like to present solutions. Hey, look at my new technology, look at my service. Well, the executive summary is really a piece that's going to help people understand that one, you're a professional, and two, that you're really there to help serve them and help guide them along their organizational wellness journey, not just to offer specific services. So I want to be clear on that. Then we're going to talk about identifying personas within the corporate market. So personas is a fancy word for saying, who is the person that we need to talk to? We're going to have different verbiage, different conversations based on who that persona is. So we'll really dive into that. And I was fortunate enough to have a colleague here at my co-working space in the Phoenix area that is a high-level sales executive and sales professional that sells technologies to big companies like Apple, Amazon, all that stuff. And to kind of have lunch with him a few times and really learn the terminology for corporate sales, such as personas and kind of what those reach out cadences need to be. Really, really good stuff that I would never have learned in the fitness world. So I'm excited to share that with you all today. We can kind of troubleshoot along the way too, what that looks like as your business evolves. And then finally, we're going to put our marketing plan in place. This is not something that's going to change overnight for you, but I really feel confident that if we get our foundation in place today with defining our core services, getting our executive summary, and really identifying who it is we're reaching out to, that we'll have some success in the short term between now and the end of the year, okay? So again, today we're really gonna build our foundation, revamp that foundation that you already have built based on new learnings, and really just hit the ground running between now and the end of 2021. I'm gonna periodically check back in on our waiting room, so give me a second so we don't miss anybody. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so defining your core services. In the fitness and wellness world, these four are really like our pillars. So one, speaking. With the NCFI, we provide you a ton of done-for-you workshops. That way you can literally plug and play them and earn income right away in the corporate setting. But speaking is going to be a big part of your professional career in the corporate space, not only to deliver services, but to do things like I'm doing today, jumping on webinars, educating different types of people on your expertise and your skill set in the corporate setting is very important and will be very impactful. Now, initially, I know with the NCFI stuff, they recommended Toastmasters, really good program if you're new to public speaking, but we really just want to make sure we have some speaking foundation in place. So for myself here in the Phoenix area, I was able to connect with a company called Depth, and they're just a speaker workshop bureau, basically. And what they do is they take you through a series of speaker training, speaker education, That's going to be part of our updated certification here at the NCFI, but really just want to make sure you're confident and comfortable speaking in front of people. Okay, the next core service is going to be movement programs. So we're going to dive into each one of these, so don't worry, we'll unpack them. But movement programs can be anything from a chair workday stretch workshop to some on-site personal training, to some injury prevention programs, to corporate yoga, tons of different options there, right? And then we have our education initiatives, which in my experience is a little bit more than just speaking. So speaking is going to be us delivering a workshop, but these education initiatives are going to be more in the form of courses, maybe smoking cessation, maybe something on back pain, maybe something around nutrition and lifestyle change. Really just depends on what your best in class service is and how you feel comfortable delivering it in the corporate setting. That's something I want you all to be thinking about, is what do I do better than anyone else, at least in my local area, and how can I deliver that in the corporate setting? And then we'll dive into some program management pieces, which I spend most of my time doing today because I really feel like my best role is played there. There's a lot of fitness professionals in my area that I can lean on to help staff some of these other type of things. But for myself, the program management is really my wheelhouse today. So let's dive into these. Speaking first. So we want to think of this in two different ways, right? We have our paid workshops versus lead gen opportunities. Now your paid workshops are going to be pretty cut and dry, right? A company needs an educational opportunity. Potentially you offer it on site, you offer it online, lots of different ways to do it. But I just want to make sure that we are clear in our head. Are we doing this to deliver value to a company and earn income off that value? Or are we doing this to grow our business? Now it can be a combination of two. For example, you could do a paid workshop for a company, collect some email addresses, and have a freebie to follow up with those employees. Or it could be something where you're at a networking event and you get to speak on your business. Okay, that's going to be a lead gen opportunity. We want to make sure that we're comfortable as speakers to execute on both, and that we have some back-end material ready to go that we can execute on both as well. So here's what I mean by that. With our paid workshops, we want to have at least 6 to 10 topics that we're comfortable delivering on in a library that we can shoot to prospects right away. In the invite I sent today, I believe there's 18 or 20 topics of different workshops on there. Again, we all need to focus on what we deliver best. So if you hate talking about sleep, do not do the sleep one-on-one workshop. And if you hate talking about strength training and all you want to do is lifestyle stuff, there's no reason to do the fitness over 40, right? So really think about, what's your best in class service? What are you comfortable, confident delivering in? And then get those workshops in place for that workshop library. Now on the lead gen side, we need to have a slide deck that's ready to go to talk about our business, talk about how we help individuals, talk about success stories, and talk about how this applies to the corporate setting. So again, with those two categories of different types of, let's say, platforms, right? Speaker platforms, let's really make sure we have those back-end pieces in place. So again, please reach out to me if you need different workshops that aren't included in that bundle I provided in the invite today. And also, if you need some help crafting that lead gen workshop, please do let me know. Doesn't need to be super fancy, but imagine that, you have the opportunity for 15 minutes to talk to a captive audience. What's that slide deck going to be? And what are those deliverables going to be for those personas? All right, now we also want to think about delivery method. Now, post-COVID 2021 or current COVID, whatever we want to call it, we want to make sure we can deliver both in an on-site and online fashion. I do plenty of workshops for companies right here on Zoom where I send them my Zoom link, just like you all received today. And on the flip side, I also do speaking engagements for companies where I use their platform. Maybe they use WebEx, maybe they use Microsoft Teams, maybe it's a third party that they use, but we really just need to be comfortable not only delivering in person, but also online. And when those are offered, I would recommend offering them at 2 separate times. In my experience, it's really difficult to deliver a live workshop and also engage with folks online. So we offer it as an upcharge. We do our on-site workshops, and then in addition, we'll record them, that we call them evergreen workshops that aren't like, hey, it's November 1st, it's any time. And we make those available to clients. So we want to make sure that we can deliver both on-site and online. And then we want to make sure we have a call to action. So I think I've shared with some of you in our one-on-one calls, I spent years, like we're talking hundreds of people here I missed out on, doing workshops without capturing any contact information or without even having an individual offer. I spent a lot of my first, 3 years being a certified corporate fitness specialist with kind of a chip on my shoulder, thinking, hey, if you're not a company, I can't help you. And I'm telling you, I would have thousands of dollars of reoccurring revenue coming in my business if I had an individual offering that I put in front of all these people where I have these speaking engagement opportunities. So make sure within both your paid workshops and your lead gen workshops that there is a call to action. It can be as simple as go to this link and get my free stress reduction guide. Or it can be as in-depth as, hey, come on in for a 2-week free trial at my brick and mortar gym. We just need to make sure that we're offering these services to not only the corporations, but also the individuals. And it's okay to not really get approval. So here's what I mean by that. If I were to come to a company and say, hey, can I collect everyone's contact information so I can provide them with a free gym membership for a week? It's going to be a little harder to get that yes than if you just show up to the workshop and then have that give to people, right? Have that give to people, or just say, hey, everyone, here's a survey link. I want you to fill it out and let me know how I did today. I can't tell you how many one-on-one coaching calls and coaching clients I was able to secure after a speaking opportunity with those individuals. So kind of a couple different ways to do it. You can ask for feedback and get that survey. That even asks in the survey, would you like a one-on-one complimentary coaching call? Or you give them something away for free, but you have to make sure you get their contact information in exchange, okay? So again, on these speaking workshops, we've got our paid versus lead gen, we've got our content, we've got our delivery method, call to action. And then the last thing I want to leave you with on the speaking portion is keep them wanting more. I can't tell you how many times I was in a workshop about nutrition and someone asked me about, how much sleep do I need per week if I'm trying to gain muscle? Man, that's a really hard question to answer during this nutrition workshop. So I may give them a little bit of context, but I would also say, man, that's its own workshop in itself. Wouldn't it be great if we did that one here this month? And then just be quiet, say that in front of the decision maker and see what happens. We always want to make sure that people know that there's more to our services. They can experience more with us. Again, early on in my career, I was really focused on, hey, I need an annual agreement to do business with you. But I learned very quickly that that was not the quickest way to a sale in the corporate setting. So if we can just get one workshop booked, provide some value, people are going to ask you questions, they're going to want more. And right there in the workshop, you can say, hey, I would love to talk to you all about, strength training or hiking with a bad back or how to prevent knee pain. That's its own workshop. When can we get it scheduled? So just make sure that we always kind of have this revolving door to generate more business, more leads, and more opportunities off of one workshop, okay? If I get a little passionate about that, it's because I'm upset that I left all those dollars on the table. Okay, movement programs. Again, with NCFI, this is our wheelhouse, right? This is where we kind of hang our hat with the certification and with the current content and knowledge that's available. But for one, I know a lot of us, we're running one-man shops or smaller businesses, and we are going to be the one delivering services. So in that case, we need to make sure we're delivering on our best-in-class services that we're comfortable, confident, and capable of delivering. So some modalities that are popular in the work setting today are yoga, mobility, and workday stretch. We recently just finished a 10-week yoga program with a client here where each day had a different focus. So they did twice a week. Like the first one was connecting with your breath. The second one, I believe, was balance. And they kept progressing. I have a yoga instructor that I lean on for the type of programming, but it was really cool. 20 minutes during the workday, 10-week course, just kind of something that they requested and that I was able to deliver on. So we'll talk about who those personas are that may request these type of programs and how to connect with them here in a minute. And then workday stretch, really popular. But think of, your general fitness as kind of one section, just real light movement, light activation in the workplace. Then we have our posture improvement and injury prevention programming. That's been very successful with me here in the Phoenix area with the cities. So like City of Goodyear, City of Gilbert, City of Glendale. Ergonomics is a big buzzword. A few years ago through the NCFI, I got my ergonomics certification. It is through OSHA. It's an online course, but there's some phenomenal information there that's going to get you up to speed on safety protocols for ergonomics in the workplace, and also how to speak the same language as those safety directors who handle those ergonomic and injury prevention programs. So definitely drop me a line if you want some info on that certification. I don't know if it's still live, but I do have all the content. So it's a full, presentation and protocol for ergonomics. And then we can look at some job specific training programs. So in the construction industry, we have light, moderate, and heavy workload. Well, companies need different types of injury prevention and recovery programs for those 3 different types of jobs, right? If we're reaching overhead, if we're turning a lot, that movement is important. And as fitness professionals, there's no one better to provide programming, guidance, and education to the physical workforce than a fitness professional. So we definitely want to make sure we kind of have that tool in our tool belt. And then of course we can offer general personal training. This can be if a company has a gym, depending on their rules or protocol right now. Executive personal training. I know Donovan's on the line today, and that's a lot of who he works with is executives. And again, if you can kind of hang your hat on those higher end coaching programs for executives, it's going to open up a ton of opportunities for referrals within their network. And then it's our job to educate those executive clients about our corporate services, and that's really going to open the door for more opportunities in the corporate market. But again, this is kind of a big picture snapshot of movement programs in the corporate setting. Again, we all need to play to our strengths. So like T, I know you've got that boxing gym really popular for you. That's probably your best wheelhouse as far as coaching goes. Man, let's offer some boxing events, right? Let's really play to what we do well and not feel like we have to be a jack of all trades for these companies. Let's just highlight what we do really well and make sure that we have clear marketing and we're consistent with our outreach efforts, okay? So those are those movement programs. Now let's talk about educational challenges and initiatives. Newsletters are very popular. I don't know if you all know Philip Ritchie, but he is an NCFI certified trainer that's been crushing it in the corporate world since like before I was certified. And one of his core offerings is weekly newsletters. And he does a really good job of getting them to companies. And you're gonna maybe run into some obstacles where the company is gonna come to you and say, oh, we get a newsletter from our carrier and our broker. And they definitely do. I actually work with a company, Gallagher, it's a large broker, and they provide well-being newsletters every single week. But guess what? They provide one well-being newsletter and it goes to all the tens of thousands of their clients. So if we want to be better than the carrier, if we're better than their broker, we're going to provide a customized newsletter that's based upon their employees' wants and needs. And we're going to find out those wants and needs by doing our survey, right? So I know that survey is kind of foundational knowledge for you all, but make sure you keep it top of mind when we're creating things like educational initiatives. Okay, next one could be a course. This could be your front end offer if you are, kind of doing like the online coaching, lifestyle coaching thing. If you've got like a 21-day to strong program or something that people can hop into free, that could be a very easy way in to offer it to a company to connect with their employees and or start working with the company. Challenges are another way that that can be done, and you can run these just like your fitness challenges as you would in the gym, or it can be specific to the corporate setting. But again, think of these as like on demand. They can access anytime, and they're ongoing education initiatives for companies. Program management. Okay, so the last one for services. And again, this is where I kind of hang my hat in the corporate setting now, just because I spent a lot of time early in my career offering workshops, exercise programs, challenges to companies that frankly were not ready for them. They didn't have a wellness program in place. They didn't have leadership support. They didn't even have buy-in from their employees. So it's really hard to offer a sustainable program without those key elements in place. So I evolved my career to the consulting and program management side of things. I would say full-time, like this summer, but pretty much 70% of my time since 2017. So let's talk about these a little bit. Fitness program management could be, so in my business, we have a contract with a private golf club that they have a gym and they offer, group fitness classes and personal training for their golf club members. In that setting, there isn't enough need to hire employees. It's kind of a benefit for members, right? So we have a contract in place where I'm responsible to make sure that they have a group fitness program. The club pays the independent contractors, but I make sure that that program's in place. We have a weekly newsletter for them. We make sure that they have personal training, events, all the good stuff. So in this setting, it's like, hey, is there anywhere in my area that may have a frequented private fitness center that could need some program management help? Next one is wellness program management. So this is more with HR professionals. I have a couple clients here that are HR directors, and they just had wellness programs that were going well. they were just overwhelming for them. So if you look at the tagline on my LinkedIn profile, it says, I help HR and benefits professionals tame the overwhelm of wellness programming and provide meaningful, engaging programs that their people enjoy. That was the long version, but again, my service is to help those HR professionals reduce the overwhelm and manage their program for them. Okay, so and these can look two different ways, consulting or staffing. So consulting would be like, hey, I'm not really doing any of the training, or I'm not really doing any of the workshops, I'm just making sure it's in place. And then on the staffing side of things, it's like, hey, you know, my team is running the program, we're executing as well. So those are just kind of two different sides of it. But really, in my experience, this is how you become a trusted advisor with your clients. They really see that you are kind of the visionary for the program, but also the leader that's going to be responsible to make sure all the things get done inside of that programming. And like I mentioned, this is going to be best for new programs, because really, I spent a lot of time offering yoga, stuff like that, to companies that didn't have a solid wellness program in place. And after time, they just faded. So we need to make sure that that company is investing in wellness and is on board for the long term. Okay, so packaging your core offer. So again, I know we just went through kind of those 4 pillars of different services, but I want to give you some examples with not only stuff I do internally with my Team Up business, but also with some of the NCFI fitness professionals are up to. So in example of my business, one thing that I love to hang my hat on now is the wellness consulting and the posture and injury prevention programs. So when I think about packaging my core offering, I'm really going to get the discovery meeting done first with the client before I present it, but I know that I can deliver really well on wellness consulting, and I can deliver really well on posture programs and ergonomics programs. So in my mind, if I'm going to work with a company in the near future, I want to make sure I'm either attached to their program management, or I'm actually making impact on the injury prevention side of things for their company. Okay. Now, Lamar is a NCFI certified fitness professional. I don't believe he's on today, but he has a big background as a first responder. He was a paramedic for many years. I think he even worked as an instructor for a while, and he really feels like his best in class service is helping first responders. So he's packaging up different types of programs that are going to take place within first responder schools first. So he's going to do like some speaking opportunities to help first responders prioritize self-care and wellness. And then he's going to put together some training programs for first responders to make sure, you know, that they're in shape and they're ready for whatever comes. So that's, Lamar took his past experience, packaged it up, and is working with that niche market. So I love that. And then Zeb's on the line. Him and I got to connect a few times about the past month. And for him, he's already doing workshops for his clients, his one-on-one training clients. And he's already got an app with exercise and movement programs in there. It's called Z Movement. I love that. So for Zeb, his core offering is going to be, okay, how do I deliver these workshops that I'm already doing in the corporate setting? And how do I deliver my app movement program to the masses? How do I sign up 20 people at once, make it affordable for the company, make it profitable for me, and manageable for me? So I really like for you all who are on today to take some time right now and throughout the rest of the day of packaging your core offer. How can you best help a company? What does it look like? What does delivery look like? And really have that in the back of your mind as a solution, but not what you're going to be presenting initially to clients, okay? All right, now transitioning to that executive summary. So if you want to pull up your document now, please do. Make sure you at least have a draft of it on your desktop. But this is a living and breathing document that I try to get in the hands of as many people as possible. I think for us, it's very overwhelming to have all these different pieces. Oh, where are my workshop content? Where's my core offer? It's like, nope, let's hang our hat on that executive summary. Keep it as a file in your phone, keep it on your desktop. As soon as somebody's like, hey, I would love to learn more about what you do for corporate, boom, you have that executive summary. It needs to be updated on an ongoing basis. So for example, if you have one in place, maybe from 2021, and you say, okay, you know, I really work on lifestyle coaching and workshops, and then today you're really inspired to get the injury prevention ergonomic service going in your business, we have to update that on our executive summary. So make sure we keep it top of mind. And again, it's not going to reflect services, more like solutions. So it's not going to say, you know, 12-week posture program. It's going to say help help active workforces reduce pain, fatigue, and improve posture, something around that. But again, the executive summary needs to be a living and breathing document, getting it to as many people as possible, updated on an ongoing basis, and reflect our solutions from a big picture, not necessarily our specific services. And those of you that are in the mastermind program, please drop your executive summary in the marketing channel by the end of the week. Okay, I want to see your logo on there. I want to see that first paragraph that we talked about, as well as the bullet points. Okay. All right, personas. So this is like, who is our client, right? How are we going to identify who we are selling to? It's going to depend on the company and the organization, but we really need to have some background knowledge on what different personas buy our services in the corporate setting. This is going to be something that's going to be on the certification 2.0, but I wanted to give it to you all today so we're really clear on who we're talking to. So again, type of person you're selling to. First persona that we all need to be connecting with is health insurance brokers. These people sell companies their health insurance programs and are extremely connected with decision makers and are extremely influential in program processes and buying decisions within companies. So we want to make sure that brokers, health insurance brokers who sell group health insurance, are a big persona for us that we're connecting with. And again, here I say focused on well-being. Definitely want to focus on, reaching out, connecting, and finding that out, which we'll talk about later. But again, health insurance brokers that are local, so it's a local company in your area, focused on well-being. Now, again, brokers that are not local with a focus on well-being, there is still absolutely an opportunity to connect and help people that are not in your area. I've had a lot of success leaning on the NCFI network. So here's an example. Connect with a broker out of Texas, and I'm in Arizona. We have a phone call. I'm learning about, what they're doing now for wellness for their clients and how they could potentially need help. They say, oh man, it would be phenomenal if we could do some on-site yoga and meditation here in the Austin area, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm going to say, great. I'm going to lean on my partners through the National Corporate Fitness Institute Trainer Network. You all source someone in Austin and make sure we can staff that site for you. So just really make sure that we think bigger picture, even if it's a broker that's not local and they're interested in your services. Great, you can deliver them virtually, right? So we want to have those two personas at top of mind always when connecting about our corporate fitness services, both the local group health insurance broker who could work for a company that's, smaller, called like Johnson Insurance, or I have a meeting with a company tomorrow called Benefits Exchange. They're local, like 6 employees here. And then on the bigger scale, we could think of like our, Gallagher's, even like United One Health Insurance, they have brokers, that type of thing. Those are the kind of the two different personas that we want to connect with. And the ask is, hey, what do you do for wellness for your clients? And are there any gaps I can help you bridge with fitness or, wellness programming? So really just starting those relationships. Those people look for vendors all the time. I've even been a part of a few health fairs here in the area where a broker will say, hey, vendors, come out, set up your booth, and all our clients are going to come in. So definitely start making those relationships. If you have questions, just ask. All right, next, wellness coordinators. So again, like I said, I have had a lot of success in cities here in the Phoenix area, but a lot of the municipalities, city of Baltimore, city of wherever you are, they're going to have a wellness program in place because of how many people they have, right? And in my experience, they typically have a full-time wellness coordinator. And this wellness coordinator is going to have some fitness, wellness, nutrition experience, but they're not going to have the capacity to deliver on that. So for example, city of Glendale, they have a wellness coordinator who used to be a personal trainer, awesome lady. She also has fitness center leads at all of her sites. So there's like 4 gyms, I think, within the city of Glendale, and they all have fitness center leads at them. Well, it sounds like, oh, what do they need me for, right? But she's not able to deliver on specific types of educational topics. Like she does not have education with ergonomics. She does not have education with different lifestyle topics and that type of thing. So these people do need to lean on vendors, and it's not to take over their program, it's to enhance their program, which is the very last tagline that we have in our executive summary. So wellness coordinators, typically at larger companies or cities, that'll be their job title. Next persona is going to be connecting with carriers. So carriers are going to be Blue Cross, United Health, Cigna, Aetna, all those bigger companies. There's a ton that I'm missing, but Humana, right? But the purpose with connecting with carriers are those carriers sell the insurance to the client, right? And in a lot of cases, those carriers also offer well-being services. Example here is one of our clients is Shea Homes, and they have a well-being coordinator or well-being engagement specialist that's employed through Cigna. Cigna is the carrier that works 100% full-time on Shea Homes on their wellness program. So if we can connect with these wellness engagement specialists that work for Blue Cross, that work for Cigna, that work for United, they're going to be attached to clients that need services and need programming. So for example, with the Cigna contact I have, we're working on an injury prevention program for Shea. It has not taken off yet, haven't got paid yet, but we're in the process, right? But during that time, she connected me with her other friend, Cigna engagement specialist, who works with a company here locally that needed some on-site fitness programming. So it's just getting in that circle, providing value, providing good services, and again, reaching out with the right persona, talking to the right person. So that's going to be your carriers. Again, the bigger ones have those well-being engagement consultants in place. And if you're kind of thinking through this and you're like, man, I don't know who these people are, what their name's going to look like, go to my LinkedIn profile, Drew Symes, and look through all of my connections, and you'll see these different types of personas: engagement specialist, wellness coordinator, HR director, and just kind of read about them a little bit to get a jive for who the people are that you need to connect to in your area. And then we've got HR directors. Again, if we were to talk to any human resources person in a company of 300 or more employees, probably not going to be the decision maker. We want to look for that director title, and it's a pretty high hierarchy. So with my client here, they're an aviation company, 240 employees. There's the HR director, payroll manager, and HR generalist. The decisions that the HR director can make in comparison to those other two are night and day. I don't even think those other two could order lunch on the company's budget without getting approval. So we really need to make sure that we're spending our time with those higher level directors, those higher level titles in management to make sure we're getting the most bang for our buck. I've done lunch with HR people. I've done coffee with HR people that are so disconnected from the wellness program. Sure, it was a great conversation, but I was wasting my time. And I don't know about you all, but my time is extremely valuable in the professional setting because I don't have a lot of it. And I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of it. Okay. So we want to make sure we're connecting with the right person. And then we have decision makers. So decision makers can be anyone in a general manager role, like car dealerships, right? They typically don't have HR people on site, but they will have some decision makers who are in the general manager capacity. Or if you have clients that are higher up within their workplaces, they are decision makers as well. And then we have influencers. So in my mind, everybody knows somebody that works for a company that is in need of a wellness program. And I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from Greg Justice where he had a one-on-one training client who was a female, and her husband just so happened to be CEO of X company or leading lawyer at X law firm. So definitely have conversations with your clients. Be more curious with what they do in their day-to-day life, who they know, and that's really going to be your best way to get more corporate conversations and more corporate clients. One thing too that kind of sticks with me on this content, I don't know if any of you have read any of the Grant Cardone information, but he always says the difference between a contact and a contract is the R, which is the relationship. So these influencers that we're already seeing on a weekly basis, if we can improve that relationship, we improve the chances of them bringing us our next contract. Could be a one-on-one client, could be a corporation, but again, if we can strengthen the relationships of those influencers that are already involved in our business, we're going to have more success long term. All right, action planning and marketing plan. So that was kind of the gist of the learnings for today. Now let's talk about what we're going to do with it. So we need that executive summary complete. Definitely save it as a PDF. Get it as many places as you can. Have it on your phone ready to send. If you can get it up on your website, definitely do that. Next, I would like everyone to have their LinkedIn profile complete. Doesn't have to be super fancy about corporate fitness or wellness. You can just say that, hey, you're a fitness professional and you're certified through the NCFI. But we need to make sure if people go to look you up online that there's a place to go. And it's not just like your Facebook feed, right? So make sure that your LinkedIn profile is complete. If you need any help with that, there is a video in the NCFI private Facebook page. Just type in LinkedIn that goes through that full process. Art McDermott had a professional LinkedIn person do a presentation for us. So obviously you can look at mine if you need some help, but definitely go through that training. Then from there, also, sorry, one more thing on LinkedIn. Once it's complete, if you don't have a website in place that says, hey, corporate wellness, yada, 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 let's make sure we use that profile as like our hanging website for our corporate services and for our experience. It's kind of like a hanging resume for us to share with corporate clients, right? And then from there, let's get those core services defined. So what can you deliver with confidence in the corporate setting? And then we're going to build our reach out list of personas and get to work. So if we go back to that list of personas, in regards to cold reach outs, that's going to be, you know, these people here. How do I get in touch with more local brokers, more big picture brokers, wellness coordinators, and carriers, right? Those are going to be all your cold leads. I would recommend at least reaching out to 5 to 10 cold leads per week. We'll talk about the process here in a minute, but make sure that that's part of your reach out efforts. And then when we're making that list, let's make sure decision makers and influencers are part of our warm market. So what people already know, like, and trust us, can we influence, educate, and improve that relationship with the goal of, you know, getting more corporate clients. All right, so those are going to be who those people are that we reach out to. All right, so the marketing component, we're going to do a direct reach out to those personas. So if it's on LinkedIn with the broker, great. Whatever it is, let's make sure that we're doing a one-on-one direct reach out to those 10 people that we deem our reach out list, okay? And that can be through LinkedIn, email, phone calls, or even, you know, connection by association. Hey, I know you through X, would love to get to know you. I recommend we all set a daily or weekly goal on this. So for me, I call it my cookbook. At the end of each week, I want to make sure that I've reached out to 20 people, 10 of them being cold, 10 of them being warm. So that could be 10 new LinkedIn connections and 10 text messages to clients, right? And just make sure we have a daily or weekly goal. Now, once we're doing this, once we have this activity going out of just meeting people, just connecting with them, we need to make sure we've got a monthly marketing or video update in place. So all these people that we contact here, we need to make sure at least on a monthly basis, we are following up with them via email marketing. So it's just an email newsletter that they all get, or a video update, which could be you sending them or your network a video of what you're up to, what services you have going on, just some way to stay in touch with these people on a monthly basis. We want to make sure as we are connecting with them that we take good notes of our conversations so we can go back to them. One thing that I recommend everyone has is a client relationship manager tool, meaning we're not just talking about, you know, whose email they are and what list they're on, but, you know, what was the conversation with that client? What things was I able to pull out of that? What can I reference in the future? So I think that's extremely important. And again, we're going to focus on activity and not results. When you are growing or scaling or just starting a new leg of your business, it's really easy to think about, hey, what are these outcomes? But if we can hold ourselves to the fire with the activity piece, direct reach outs, having our LinkedIn in place, making sure we're following up with people on a monthly basis, that type of thing, we are much more inclined to see some success in the short term. All right, so next step. So I know some of you here are enrolled in the Mastermind program. If you do need help with this process, want accountability to make sure we get the action items done, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get you all those details. And our next session is going to be on Sales for Success, Master the Meeting. We'll talk about how to improve your sales skills in the corporate setting, feel more confident, and get the results you are looking for. Stay tuned for a date for that. I will have that to you all within the next week. And would love to just say, we'll open it up for Q&A here in a second, but for those of you that attended live, thank you for being here. And for those of you that were able to catch this recording, I appreciate you taking the time to invest in your business.